All right, guys, welcome to Algebra 1. This is, kind of a mini lesson here with me being gone. Should be able to get through this pretty quickly. Most of you can zip right through this. It's not completely new things, but it's just refining how you look at polynomials and addition versus subtraction versus multiplication and not confusing those two. So you got a bunch of problems here. You should be able to zip these through. If I was in class, I'd let you have 3 minutes to try to get answers to all of these and try to refine how you look at a problem. So, you see one here that's g squared times g squared, which is multiplication, and this one is b squared plus b squared, an addition problem. Very simple problems. Honestly, all things you know how to do at this point in your math so far, but we're just kind of giving you an extra day of practice to kind of look at this and confirm that you really got the hang of it. So in this situation, we think of this as g times g times g times g, which is really just g to the 4th power. Totally different than this situation where we're combining things that we have on there. This is not b to the 4th power. There's no multiplication going on. You've got a b squared. Think of this as being a square plus another square. You have 2 squares. You have 2 b squareds on this one. So 2 totally different problems here. Even though they look similar, this has a plus sign in between. This does not. Same thing on this one here. This is really y times 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 y, or really, long way of writing it there. It's really just y to the 12th. I don't know why that says y to the 9th. Sorry, it's y to the 9th. I lied to you. 3 plus 3 plus 3, Mr. Hess, is 9. Thank you for correcting my mistake. Good thing I don't have Cassie and Conrad and other people insulting me in class and embarrassing me in front of everyone. Same idea on this one. This is like what we did on Friday. This is a binomial squared. So, a mistake some people might make here is call this w to the 4th plus 9, and they might miss that a binomial squared is usually a trinomial. So hopefully you get a trinomial for that one. This is the big one I want to talk about. This is not anything like what you did on Friday. And I want you to look carefully at these two and see how they're different. Here, there's nothing in between, which implies there's multiplication, which implies you're doing FOIL. First terms, outside terms, inside and last, and multiplying. This is telling you to add. Add the binomials. This is like a perimeter question. This is like an area question. This is saying c squared plus c squared and 3 plus 3. So you're going to get very different answers on these. So be careful with that. Same thing on this. This is a plus plus plus. This is an a to the 3rd, an a to the 3rd, an a to the 3rd. This is like a cube, and a cube. You got 3 cubes. You have 3 a cubes on that one. And again, I talked about this one here. If you do some FOIL, you get those terms, these guys combine. So this, you really have to have the skill of getting w to the 2nd times w to the 2nd, knowing that's w to the 4th, which is totally different than adding w squareds. 3w squareds and 3w squareds. 3 to 3 is 6w squareds on there. So you got to have both skills, multiplication and then a result of addition. And this one is just an addition problem. So I used to teach these in a different order. This used to be something I taught before we did FOIL and before we did multiplication. For this year, the first time I'm teaching it kind of backwards because this is more important, number one, because it applies to more things later on. But I think once you get good at this, hopefully the plus sign there makes sense that you're adding. You're not doing FOIL here, which is a mistake that people commonly make. Which I think there's a question on the bottom of your paper there saying something about being careful about not mixing up these concepts. Be careful. Reread the language and take a step back and look at the symbols and what they're telling you to do on there. These are all addition problems. These are multiplication problems on the other side. So with that said, most of the problems on your paper are addition and subtraction. Some might be multiplication, so just be careful on here. This one, imagine if you had to do a trinomial times a trinomial. You'd hate me. And I see people do that on quizzes sometimes. I'm making this easier for you. I'm giving you a plus sign there. Add them together. This is just combining like terms. These guys like each other. If you combine those, you get 5x squared. These guys like each other. So combine those two. Negative 1 and negative 14 is negative 15. The 7 and the negative 2 like each other. And you got yourself a trinomial of 2nd degree on there, and it's in standard form. Beautiful. So try the same thing with this one, but be careful. I'm saying to subtract all of this stuff. So this might make sense on here. Think about the invisible number that's right here. There's an invisible 1 here, and it's actually a negative 1. So this is sort of, you can think of this as either distributing negative 1 to all of these things before you try to combine, or you can think of this as 2x squared minus negative 4x. And if I say that, 2x squared minus negative 4x squared, hopefully you realize minusing a negative is really addition. So that negative sign changes all the signs here. This is really becomes addition. This is positive 3x, and then you attach that and it becomes negative 3x. So it's really negative 2x minus 3x. This is really minus 2, but you're subtracting negative 2, so it becomes plus 2. So all of those terms really change. I'm going to attach the negative here, I'm going to change the sign here, and I'm going to change the sign with that 2. And then I'm going to go and combine my terms on here. I have no idea why there's 2 plus signs on there, maybe because I'm so positive about it. So I get 2x squared plus 4x squared, that's 6x squared. Got that first piece done. Negative 2x combines with a negative 3x, negative 5x. 4 combines with a 2, you get 6, and you love it. And we had one more in that group, and again, it's a subtraction problem, which is really the only thing new that you're seeing today. Make sure you distribute the negative on here and change all of these signs. So this becomes negative x squared, this becomes positive 2x, and this becomes positive 2. And I'm showing that little distribution arrow on there. So 7x squared minus an x squared gets you 6x squared. And there I'm showing it rewritten on there. Excuse me. Negative 10x plus the 2x, and you get negative 8x. The negative 9 plus the 2 gives you negative 7. And hopefully that makes perfect sense on there. So take a whip through these. Go for it. Be careful, because I threw a trick problem in here. That's a subtraction problem. That's a subtraction problem. That is not a subtraction problem. With no symbol in there, the FOIL is implied. Multiplication is implied on there. I'm going to come back in the second part of this, and you can check your answers. Give these a try. Kind of give you a little hint on there. I will be back in a moment. Check out part 2.